Why do people go to jail?
Why are black people in jail at higher rates than white people?
That's the question, right? Maybe because they
Yes.
commit more crimes than white people.
But that's not true. It actually is.
They do. So every independent analysis shows that blacks have commit a disproportionate amount of crime. No one wants to say it out loud, but it's true. In fact, in New York, 52% of murders are committed by blacks, 40+% of arson, 60+% of drug deals. And so the question you should really be asking is what drives them to commit crimes? That's the question, right? The real question is, and maybe I can ask you, what percentage of blacks are raised with two parents in the home?
So actually, according to the Uniform Crime Report for 2019, black or African American individuals committed only about 1 million crimes, while white people committed about 4 million crimes.
So
I'll ask you, and if you don't know the answer, it's okay, I do. What percent of sexual assaults in the United States are committed by white men?
I do not know.
57%. Of the January 6th insurrectionists who were pardoned, do you know how many have been charged and convicted and arrested of additional crimes, including child sexual assault, kidnapping, production of child pornography, rape, conspiracy to murder an FBI agent, domestic violence by strangulation?
I do not have that information.
No, 33 since their pardons.
Country where everything bad, everything negative which happens in the society, it's pointed at one particular community, but the data says the opposite.
Straight white dudes are the #1 offenders of sexual violence against children in the United States. But if you don't want to believe me, maybe you'll believe your darling Tim Tebow.
The #1 offender type is biological fathers, but by far it is being done by middle-aged Caucasian men. Many, over half of them, college graduates. Many of them are educated, good jobs. This isn't just who we're thinking about. And I think that it is time that we call them out.
Interesting choice of words to use the word Caucasian instead of white. I'm sure he's not coached to do that. Now, Tim Tebow's actually been on Fox News to talk about this, and let's see if he's as specific as he was on that podcast.
People don't like it when I say this, but we have to tell the truth. We have to get accurate picture. The #1 offender is biological fathers. This isn't...
Whoop! Did you catch that? You kind of left out an important detail there, Tim. It's just interesting to me how when you're on a podcast, it's okay to talk about how white men are the biggest perpetrators of sexual violence against children, but when you're on Fox News, the largest media consumed by white men, all of a sudden you're not allowed to talk about that. So certainly you're not going to go on and talk about the importance of good men holding bad men accountable and how important it is to be honest about these problems so that we can properly solve them, right?
And men have to step up and stand up and be the men that we're called and created to be, to protect, not exploit. And it's going to start at the home.
Almost. Look, I know that Tim Tebow means well, and I know that his program has saved a lot of children, and it's put a lot of bad guys behind bars for a week or however long we sentence men who harm children in this country. But if we can't properly address this problem, if Tim can't properly call out the white men who are abusing children in this country, then you're just part of the problem that you're trying to solve, buddy. We have to be better. As men, we have to be better.
So for all the racists on here who love to talk about black and brown predators or the dangers of undocumented folks, can you please explain why nearly 80% of the people who produce, distribute, or possess child SA material are white men, and almost all of them are U.S. citizens? And by the way, you can check that data for yourself. So you see this? This is the U.S. Sentencing Commission's interactive data analyzer, which is a nifty little tool that lets you look up stats on any federal crime category overall, and then you can break it down by race. And then you can calculate the percentage of that crime done by each racial group for every year going all the way back to 2015, or you can do it for a range of years. So I did that for child SA material prosecutions from 2015 all the way through 2025, and it turns out that 78% of those prosecutions were of white men, almost 8 out of 10, while only 6% were of black men. You know, that group that y'all racists say is the most dangerous and awful group out there? So what the hell is it about white men that explains this? I mean, after all, for other crimes, everybody's got a theory to explain it, right? For typical street-level violent or property crimes, both the left and the right have theories. We on the left say socioeconomic factors can explain them. The right says it's culture, maybe even biology. But my point is, everybody has a theory. And yet, when it's white dudes that predominate disproportionately in some category of misdeeds like child essay material or child sexual exploitation, also about 71% of those are white folks, according to a DOJ report released in January of this year, or spree killing or mass school shooting, suddenly nobody has an analysis at all. Apparently, we just treat that shit like some inexplicable individual pathology, or we write it off to mental illness or video games or some shit. We never blame it on white culture. We never blame it on whiteness. We never blame it on white DNA. We never ask what's wrong with the white family. We do that about the black family all the time. We say, where are the black dads? We never ask where the white dads are. What's wrong with white fathers? Well, apparently some of the white dads and some of the white uncles are online looking at the child essay material. That's the problem. If we were actually a country that cared about actual predators, particularly the ones who threaten children, if we were actually worried about danger, we'd be asking this question about why white people and white men in particular are so predominant in this category of dangerous criminal offending. But we're not that country. We just want to racialize danger and crime. We don't actually want to protect people from harm.
Raped by a Belfast born and bred white man. Do I blame all white men? No. Because that was the actions of one man. Same way the barbaric attack in North Belfast was the actions of one man. White people are gifted the luxury of individuality. When a white person commits a crime, they're a bad egg, they're a bad seed. I wonder what went wrong in their upbringing. But when it's a person of colour, the entire race and several races are blamed. Burning businesses of hard-working individuals, burning people out of their homes, smashing their windows, burning buses. This is not a protest, it's racism. And the argument of, oh, you can't say nothing now or you're called a racist. If you are protecting our communities, protecting our women and protecting our children, using your voice against all crime, you are consistently against violence and consistently trying to protect our communities, then no, you're not racist. If you were out protesting when a 15-week-old pregnant lady was murdered by her white partner, then no, you can say it's not racism. But when you only want to protect our communities and you only want to use your voice when it is a person of colour, then call it whatever you like, you're a racist. Violence from anyone should not be accepted in our communities.
This whole video dictates and it shows how the American system was designed against the black people. You have heard from the people, they can say, we acknowledge this 100%, it has been happening, but the media won't cover it just for them, just to favor the white people. You have seen the guy who has gone to the TV and instead of saying that the number one people who are molesting their kids at homes, instead of mentioning the whites, he said that we should be accountable, we should be responsible of taking care of our kids out there. This showcases how the white supremacy is able to dictate what is should be said and what should not should be said, because they don't want you to know, they don't want you to know that they are the leading people on in terms of all these things which are bad and which are happening in the society. And they are leading, according to the latest data, at 41%, followed by Hispanic and the blacks, number 3. They don't want you to know that. All they want you to know is everything bad which is happening in the society is done by the black people. Nothing good has been portrayed towards the black community. This is at one point that the black people should come together, live together in harmony, love one another, have unity, and be present at each and every personal people's life, because it's very, very important. The media has been portraying that any household whereby there are blacks, you have heard even from the video, they believe that most of the families, they are just led by a woman, maybe a single mother. And I don't think this data is really, really right. Even in the white supremacy, in the white people homes, this is what this happens too, but they will not even say it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Give the video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and credit goes to the creators of these short videos. Thank you for watching.